There we go. All right, so I am back. I have posted a few videos in the last few years, but not too many. For some reason, YouTube doesn't like my channel. I don't get it, because I'm not political. I'm a white guy. An older white guy. Yeah. Huh. Anyway, look at this. I want you to take a look at this. I want you to take a look at it, but now I've got to get it to focus. So let me do what I can. There we go. All right. This is a piece of solder. It came off of this roll of solder, which I had to order from out of state because apparently in Colorado you can't get lead solder anymore. We have a nanny state going on here. Now maybe I'm a little political at this point. This is pretty cool. And this is really important because I am getting ready to take that piece of crap 50-ton jack apart and fix it with a lead gasket. So I wanted to show you the lead gasket that I had made, ring gasket. And I'll make another one that will fit. This isn't big enough. I just wanted to prove my theory. I was able to solder it together and then sand it carefully. So it's not perfect, but I'm going to smash the crap out of this thing so it should fit in there pretty good. That's the intention anyway. So here we are with this very, very poor, well, it's a poor quality jack. It has been sitting here draining a little bit. Looks like it's been draining out of this top gasket here. That's okay. It normally doesn't sit upright, or it doesn't sit on its side. But I have, well, yeah, you can see that. Okay, and I did want to show you one more thing before I go make this ring. This is heavy. Okay, let's zoom in to the bottom of this piece of pipe. So you see that's a taper. That's almost like about a, I would call that about a 10 or 15 degree taper. So what I want is I want this to set right up in here. That will be plenty of room. Yeah, you can't see that, can you? Let's try that. There we go. So that, and my ready to cut this dude. Okay, let's cut it reasonably close. All right, another thing that I want to do is I want to cut a little bit of this. Now earlier, when I did this, I actually used this solder, but I'm kind of scared to use it. I think it's got a core. It doesn't, yeah, it's a rosin core solder. I don't want to use that. I don't want to use any flux at all unless I add it. So that should be it. How are we doing? Okay, we're doing good. So I've got my little piece here. I've got this big piece. Yeah, okay. So I'm gonna go again. And I know we're really zoomed in here. I will. That looks pretty good. All right. So let's grab our dude. Give it a bit of metal. Okay, that looks pretty good. That looks good. I'm trying to make sure that I like doing a good weld. I'm trying to make sure that I get my metal to flow all the way inside. And one more there. Okay. Now, did you see that? Kind of no, huh? Let me back up just a little bit. Okay. That looks pretty good. Back up to where you can see that. So it's right there. However, that does look pretty good. Well, we do have one issue. I think it's all right. I need just a little bit more, I think. Now I will be. That looks really good. I will be sanding this down, but I really don't want to sand down a whole lot of it. So, but if I have enough there to begin with. So I'm going to have to do some handwork on this thing with my, well, I guess I could do a little bit with the camera running. Can you see this down here? Oh yeah, okay. All right, so that's what I've got. Let's see if it's going to fit. I've shined it up. It's not perfect, but I think it's going to be close enough. I can't do this this way, so I'm going to have to, yeah, let's just do it this way. It's the best I got. Super careful. try to just get it down in there just a little bit at a time. That looks really good. Yeah. Yeah, baby. That looks really good. So let me show you what I got. Went in really nicely. It's snugged in very well. So, yeah. Okay. Bam. Yeah, that looks pretty good. See, these threads are almost a 1/16 of an inch. So if I get it snugged down, okay, that's probably, yeah, it's probably snug. I'm gonna get a little piece of tape. I would like to get a whole turn on it. I mean, that would be a huge amount. So that's yeah, my idea of getting a full turn on it ain't gonna happen. However, I might get a half turn on it. Oh, son of a... It landed right on my toe. And it hurts. It feels to me, ow, like I may not be able to get any more. I mean, that is, it's fighting me pretty decently. I'll try one more. And what we got going on here. I went ahead and refilled the jack, and I just jacked it up a little bit just to see if, oh yeah, that's nice and solid. That worked really well. There was no squishiness whatsoever to it. It just did what it was supposed to do. I think y'all, that is a fix, finally, a real, true fix that is not going to fail. I will say this, though. I was having a hell of a time. I did get it about 100 degrees tighter than when it has snugged down. So I've squished that washer pretty good. But you saw you saw the effort it took for me to do that, too. And that is my poor foot. Yeah, I'm hobbling around a little bit. So this is the piece that I did. I hear that little cat. I believe that this is where I attached it and where I filed it. What a cat. But I was going to say, I used this file, which is a sandpaper on a metal backing. Actually, I was selling these a few years ago with another tool that I sell, a guitar tool. But this file, that goes to a nice edge. I think that's like a mill bastard cut. I think that's what they call that. This is a heck of a file, though. It's really good. I don't like getting lead in it, but on the other hand, I really needed to get that filed down properly. So the idea was just to get it as close as I could. It was still lumpy like this one, a little bit. I think the one that I finished was maybe a bit smoother than that, but I think if you get it close enough, I should have smashed this down by probably maybe 20%. I'm assuming that's how far I smashed it down in that jack when I tightened it up. I'm just looking at that. I tightened it about 110 degrees, 100 to 110 degrees. So, and then you saw what I was doing. I hope I was using these two holders to hold this piece, to hold the larger piece and this piece also, so that I could keep it lined up as perfectly as possible while I carefully just applied tiny little dabs of solder to it off of this. And I'm not using a really huge soldering gun. I thought I'd have to use a really big soldering iron just because of the mass of this. I mean, this is a massive piece of material. However, the heat conductivity in solder is relatively low, and that's kind of nice. That allowed me to be able to use a small amount of heat to get that done. Oh, what else? I think that's it. So yeah. It took me, what was that, like 2 or 3 years since, and a lot of it is because YouTube has throttled my channel. I'm a white male, so they follow my channel, and it's just it's taken the interest out of actually putting more things on the channel when I know that the channel is just being stifled. However, I really wanted to do a follow-up video using a copper or a lead gasket to seal that jack up properly, because my repair only lasted a couple of months, and it was not, that's not what I wanted. I wanted a good repair. This repair will last. I shouldn't have any problem with this unless I need to tighten it up even further down the road, but I don't think I'm going to have that problem. I mean, I got some torque on that sucker, and it got some torque on me too, especially my foot. Ow. Anyway, if you have one of those 50-ton jacks that are acting bad and you can't get a gasket to hold, yeah, this is your video. For that matter, for any jack that's having an issue, I think that a gasket like this is the answer. So you don't have to mess around with it. You have a jack that works now. That's my opinion of it, because this is certainly a much superior material than that nasty little piece of rubber that was in there. I don't know why they didn't do it in China, but there we go. that's kind of how some of these things are. Anyway, yeah, I'm going to get off of here.